as a doctor entrepreneur. These two will be talking today only. And tomorrow by 3 o'clock, we'll have another guest talk by Dr. Girish Badragon. And he will be talking on my story as an innovator. So these are a series of activities will be conducted. So for this my story motivational session activity, I would like to welcome all of you. First of all, I would like to welcome our today's guest speaker, Dr. Anand and Dr. Vijay. I welcome you, sir. I do also welcome our Vice President of Research and Innovation Council, Surekha Hipri, madam. And I also welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, MS Brother, sir. I welcome Dr. Arvind Patil, sir. I welcome Registrar J.J. Ambikar, sir, and all the administrators to the event. I welcome all the delegates, all the participants, and all the students joined today's event. As a first part, I would like to introduce Dr. Anand first. Dr. Anand is he has completed MBBS and DCH from Bangalore Medical College, Bangalore. Everybody many of medicos dream to be learned in BMC. So we have today one of our speaker from BMC. That is very proud moment for all the budding doctors who are here. He is presently working as a head of Columbia Asia Referral Hospital, Kurg. He is also country head of Corporate Business Columbia Asia Hospital. He is the country head of International Asia Hospital. He is also country head of Clinics Columbia Asia Hospital. He is a CEO Moon Maternity Hospital. He is also CEO Big Super Specialty Hospital. And he is he's a founder director of Hathor Healthcare Services Private Limited and an e-commerce platform in healthcare. He's also founder director of Attractia Technology Private Limited, new product development and product improvement. Why we chosen Dr. Anand is, as a doctor, we all do practice routinely. That is our routine activity. But along with that, sir has been motivated towards production of many of the innovations, and that he has converted into entrepreneurship. So we requested his motivational story for our young budding doctors. So over to you, sir. Please talk on your motivational story. We would like to hear from your motivational story. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Kavish. Thanks for introducing. And good morning to one and all. It is nice to have on such a wonderful platform. So I think Kavish has already spoken about me. So the introduction was actually in brief, and he has given all details about me. So I would like to have a more of interactive session by which will help you to understand the journey of an entrepreneur. Okay. So how many students are there in this group?
Almost 105 present there, sir. Another 50 will be joining in a short while.
Okay, 105. So of this 105, how many of them want to be an entrepreneur in the coming days? That means post-graduation, or once they complete their MBBS, how many of them want to get into a management, or they want to get into an entrepreneurship? Anybody interested in being an entrepreneur? Anybody interested can unmute and say, yes, I am interested.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ladies first. Sagar. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we are new to all this. Could you guide us?
Yeah. So basically, the biggest challenges when we look into your profession, that is, you're going to be a doctor in another 5 years, isn't it? So when you look into the when you fill any form, there's a no, there's a what is called as occupation. What is your occupation? Self-employed. Self-employed. That means a doctor is an entrepreneur by himself. But it's very unfortunate that during our medical college course, we had not been taught about management at all. So let us consider most of you do your complete your MBBS. After that, get into post graduation. Let us assume two sides of it. One, a set of people getting into a clinical, what do you say, the clinical courses and taking up specialization. Post that, you set up your own practice, isn't it? And most of the doctors who set up their own practice have a very, very little idea about how they're going to manage their enterprise. That means it can be a clinic, or it can be a standalone nursing home, or it can be a daycare center. We are not being taught in our medical college. And most important thing is, the doctors have not been taught how to market themselves. So my journey started in such a way that uh, I start. I was a 50th rank holder in the entrance exam in my class 12, and I got into my MBBS. And I was quite an independent guy, and I believe in doing something which will make me self-reliant. So I started at tutorials at the age of 18 when I got into MBBS, where I started with around 8 students, and this was basically for class 10 and class 12, only for science and mathematics. So over a period of 3 years, I had around 100 plus students, and I was having a full-time tutorials, which was running by me. And by final year MBBS, I had around 200 students, and my tuition timings were morning 5:30 to 7 o'clock, 7:30, and evening again 6 o'clock to 8:30. So I used to have 4 batches. I used to appoint lecturers, and I used to run a tutorials. And most of my students are now doctors and engineers. So when I was 23, I had students who were 18 years. So in this journey, I learned how to manage finance because it was a big amount of money which I used to get. And then I'll be very, honest. When my colleagues were struggling hard even to make, for a pocket money, I used to make an earning of around 12 lakhs per annum. That is almost 1 lakh per month. That boosted my confidence, and it also made me learn how to manage finance, because earning money is easy, but managing it is difficult. This is where I realized that I should learn something about finance. Suppose that I got an opportunity to work with, no, oh yeah. So post the MBBS, I did my DCH, and post that I got a job in Columbia Asia. Columbia Asia was my first job. And in Columbia Asia, I got an opportunity to work with Dr. Uma, who was my mentor. And she's a neurosurgeon by profession. She was a pediatric neurosurgeon. She had passed out from the Air Force Medical College, and she did a post-graduation from ICMR. And she was a very motivational lady, and she was inspirational. She gave me a project in 2009 where I set up a hospital for a Tibetan monastery, which is located in Coorg, which is called Golden Temple. I set up a hospital from the scratch, that is, from obtaining the statutory compliances like KPMEA, pollution clearance, then BARD, that is the Baba Atomic Research Development Authority, and obtaining trade license, obtaining pharmacy license, setting up a proper hospital for a Tibetan refugee camp. That was my first project which I did. And the idea was that I set up a feeding center for Columbia Asia, Mysore. I also brought in a lot of the social corporate responsibility, CSR activity, what we call it as, where I was vaccinating around 2,000 children for hepatitis B, hepatitis B, and we did a lot of anti-scabies, because scabies was common because it was a monastery. Scabies were very common, and because the hygienic conditions were very low. Post that, I was awarded by Dalai Lama as a compassionate doctor, where I stayed in Railkope and ensured that I introduced teleradiology in 2011. The similar model was incorporated in Columbia Asia, Dudbalapur. So I set up Columbia Asia Dudbalapur in 2012. The model was it becomes a feeding center for Columbia Asia, Hebal. So in this journey, I learned how to set up a hospital, how to manage an hospital, and what is P&L, that is a profit and loss statement, and also about projections and putting up policies in place. For example, when a patient arrives, let us assume 10 patients arrives to the emergency department, and these 10 patients are quite critical. So how do we ensure that every patient gets treated, and how do we prioritize these 10 patients? So we set up a policy for everything. So I was actively participating in the SOPs, that is standard operating procedures related to clinical as well as management. That it can be with respect to billing, that is invoicing, etc. And then I also got into audit process. I learned how to do the audit and clinical audit as well as a management audit. Post that, I got an opportunity to head Columbia Asia corporate business, where I set up around 280 clinics of Columbia Asia in a corporate. So it was a new model which was started by me, where the idea was, uh, let us assume there are 100 OPD patients or 100 patients to an hospital. Of these 100 patients, we were able to see that 30% of the 25% of the patient had insurance. Since Columbia Asia is located in Bangalore, which is surrounded by corporates, I thought that bringing in a clinic in a corporate will generate more revenue. So what was the business model? Business model was it brings in visibility. Second one, it also brings in traction. Third, it gives a platform for us to do health talks. Fourth, it becomes a revenue generator because we supply doctor, nurses, and other clinical services like ambulance, etc. And it also starts become a feeding center for the Columbia Asia. Through this, we were able to increase the revenue from 23% to 32%. So post that, I started handling the international business for Columbia Asia India, and we were able to do around more than 14 crores per month as a international patient revenue. So as a part of business intelligence. So this is how I learned the complete management skills from Columbia Asia. I thank my mentors like Tufan Ghosh, who was my CEO, Dr. Anand Kumar Jairam, who was a general surgeon, and he was group medical director, and is presently the CEO of Columbia Asia's group of hospitals, India. So I was blessed to have these kind of mentors who gave me a good, understanding about management. Post that, I became an independent CEO for Moon Maternity Group of Hospitals, which is located in Hubli and Belgaum, which was owned by Minister Shiv Kumar Udasi. Post that, I was a CEO for big hospital, that is Bangalore Institute of Gastroenterology. And in my Bangalore Institute of Gastroenterology, it is a single specialty hospital. If you see my journey, I started a small daycare center in Core. I handled the corporate clinics. I handled international patients. Then I got into a single specialty like maternity, then gastroenterology. With all these things, the learning in management will never stop. Now, in the hospital, one thing we should remember is we only assume that doctors play a very, very important role, and only because of doctor, hospital is running. Absolutely no. Doctor is one of the important person in the organization. Management plays a very crucial role, especially when it comes to purchase, procurement. The revenue to the hospital, even when you set up a hospital, please remember, revenue comes from the consumables. Revenue comes from the pharma. Revenue comes from how beautifully you manage the finance. So in this process, what we learned is the bigger hospitals like Columbia Asia have a well-defined procurement department. Small hospitals, small and medium-sized hospitals, they are less structured. They don't have a defined procurement department who can negotiate and get the products. So this is how I thought of starting up a company called Hather, which will be like Amazon of healthcare. When I say Amazon of healthcare, it will be like Yes, Gavish, we are online.
Yeah. You are audible, sir. Now.
Yeah. So during this process, what I understood is that we need to have a platform which will be like Amazon of healthcare, and this I'll just take a break. 1 minute. Sorry, I'm back. So we started with a company called Hather. Hather is like Amazon of healthcare, where our customer base will be basically target audience will be medium, small sized hospitals, standalone nursing homes, and doctors, which will help in procurement and bringing in transparency in entire procurement system. It also helps in uh, giving better price and a wide range of product visibility to our colleagues. So basically, the idea was to ensure that you don't overbuy things. So if you take up hospitals, like say example, smaller nursing homes, they procure in larger quantity. Okay, let us assume. I'll give a small example of our um, house. Okay, in most of our houses, what we do is we may have a vegetable market just next door, but however, we tend to buy vegetables and store in the refrigerator for almost a week to 10 days. Again, after third day, we again go to the market and we again try to buy the vegetables and start storing it. So during this process, you can see by end of 1 week, there'll be at least 50% of the vegetables would have been rotten or frozen, or it would have lost its freshness, and we throw it. So this is called inventory. So in business also, we do the same thing where we overstock stuffs, and because of the stocking of the stuff, that is the material, we get into the loss. Because our P&L becomes negative. So this profit and loss statement will be affected because of our over inventory. So with this, what we realized is we provide a complete solution for procurement. So this was the idea and the behind the Heather. So now we have started with medical consumable range, basically with urology range of product, gastroenterology range of product, nephrology range of product, surgical drapes, which are in the brand of Heather. We also have a company called as Attractiva Technology Private Limited. The idea behind this was that we have these medical consumables that have been manufactured are manufactured by a non-medical person who have a very bare idea about what exactly the product is, where exactly it is utilized, and what is the application. They don't have any fair idea about it. So I felt that it is the doctor who needs to decide about the improvisation of product. So we started creating a team of doctors, especially the specialist, who can advise us on improvising the product. At the same time, who can also help us in coming up with a newer range of product. So, for example, for HCG Cancer Hospital, we have worked with a biopsy needle, which has a hub, which has an inclinometer, which helps to identify the degree at which the needle gets into the body, and biopsy accuracy will be 95 to 100%, 95 to 98% accurate. So that means a very simple device which will bring in more accuracy is what we were looking into. So this is how we start my journey with entrepreneurship started. It started from my tutorials, and what we are now is an e-commerce company and also a product innovation company and new product development. In this journey, I happened to meet good number of doctors. One is Dr. Ajit. Dr. Ajit is an entrepreneur by himself. He set up a company called HospiCare, which is into facility management, because there is a science involved in the facility management as well. So hence, I requested him to be part of the organization because I see that he is extremely good in relationship building, marketing capabilities are good, is good in sales. That means we should actually do something what we are passionate about. So if you ask me, doctor, you did your specialization, but why are you doing this? I would like to say that I am not a person who can sit in a clinic and see the same diarrhea, vomiting, cough, pneumonia for all 365 days. I would like to do something, different every day, and meet people, get connected, build, grow. This is what I believe in. So, anybody has any question, please raise so that I can answer to all of your queries.
Students, if you have any doubts, you can ask, or any queries, you can ask. It was a wonderful talk, sir. I was very much impressed, actually. Actually, that is what I was thinking, and exactly the same you have conveyed to the student. I just would like to ask you one thing. What is that factor which stimulated you to become an entrepreneur?
This is what I actually tried to convey in the starting, that our profession is said that we are self-employed. The word self-employed means you're an entrepreneur. It's very unfortunate that we don't realize that we are going to be an entrepreneur from the day one of our practice. So this has to be thought the minute you join into your medical college, because you are going to set up a center, you are going to market yourself, you are going to put a process in place, you are going to come up with your strategy to acquire patients.
Exactly. As doctors are made entrepreneurs, but we don't realize the thing we are entrepreneurs. Exactly, sir. Exactly. Madam,
Correct.
you want?
So every doctor is an entrepreneur, and one should be thought that until unless he comes up with some amount of the business ideas and basics of the business, he will not be able to sustain in the industry. Either the hospital, more than a hospital, it will be very difficult for him to sustain himself in the competitive world. Sheetal Patil.
Sheetal, you'd like to ask something?
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Sagar.
Sagar,
Hello.
Yes, Sagar.
you can ask.
Sir, how did you manage and entrepreneurship, teaching the tutorials what you have written?
Okay, it is all about time management. The one of the key success for any entrepreneur is how to manage time. So, it was a very good question. So, I just wanted somebody to ask about it. What are the key for success in management? Is first and foremost the time management. Most of us get into procrastination. That means we try to postpone things and we feel that we can do it later. So, this is something which reduces our performance. At the same time, when it comes to the question which you asked me, I felt that interacting with students. I see. Let us assume you're in first year of MBBS, Sagar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many hours do you study?
So classes are not yet started, sir.
Classes
However,
are not
it's
started.
starting on 2nd Feb.
Second Feb. Okay. How many hours do you intend to study in a day?
Maybe around 6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours. Do you think it will be consistently 6 to 8 hours throughout the year?
May not be, sir.
May
It
not
may
be.
vary, sir.
Right. So
Depends.
you tend to do around 2 to 3 hours of consistent study every day,
Of course, sir. Of course.
of course. So you have another 6 to 7 hours of college.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 7 hours plus 3 hours is 10 hours. What will you do with remaining 14 hours?
Daily course and all will be there, sir.
No, 7 hours of college.
I may get up bit. Yeah.
3 hours of studying, that is in library and other thing.
Yes.
So remaining 14 hours, what do you
Okay.
intend to do?
I may be playing or watching or like that.
Correct. So you can do about those things, no doubt about it. But how many hours do you want to play? How many hours you want to sleep? How many hours? Do you have any defined way of doing it? No, isn't it?
Sleep around.
Okay. So let us assume 10 hours. 10 plus 6 is 16 hours. Still, you are left with 8 hours. Now let us assume that you play for 4 hours and you have other personal work, getting fresh, going with friends, all together another 4 hours. So totally, again, you're still left with another 4 hours,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? So of this 4 hours, let us
Yes,
assume
yes, sir.
I spend at least 2 hours for my tuitions.
Okay. Yeah.
So during, yeah. And what was the motivational factor? Money. Simple.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm?
But however, MBBS is more stressful, sir. How that whatever you may miss out, and how did you replace it here?
Okay, very good question. How do you relieve stress?
Yeah.
The best way to relieve stress is with being youngsters who are more like a kid, who are very playful. You cannot be, cannot take out your stress on your family. You cannot take out your stress on your friends. The best way to take out your stress is either work out in gym or with kids. I felt it
Okay,
was
sir.
good to take out stress by teaching something to somebody else.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
welcome. So anyone else? So I'll just again brief. Dr. Ajit is here, so I'll introduce Dr. Ajit. So I happened to meet Dr. Ajit
Waiting.
almost a year back, and I could see a good entrepreneurship with Dr. Ajit. And being a young doctor, passed out from Ramaya, and he's done his finance from IIM. He comes with a sound, hold, a strong hold in marketing, business development, networking, and sales. So he is one of the director for marketing, business development, and also the business association for Hathar Group. So I'll hand over to Dr. Ajit, so he can just explain you about the journey of an entrepreneur as a doctorpreneur. Simple word.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You made my job easy. Thank you, Anand sir. Now I would like
Welcome.
to welcome Ajit sir as well. And please, Ajit sir, you can continue. Sir, unmute yourself. Ajit sir, you unmute yourself first.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Sorry, it's audible, sir.
Sorry. Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody. Dr. Anand has already
Good
given
afternoon,
the.
sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yeah. So Dr. Anand has introduced me already, and I would like to extend my thanks to your VC of BLD Medical College, Dr. Biradar sir, and Dean Dr. Arvind Patil sir, and Dr. Gavi sir, and Dr. Sureka madam who is present here, and Dr. M.M. Patil sir, who are very active when they brought us in. And they formed an IAC committee only for young upcoming entrepreneurs like you guys. So I would like to talk about IAC later. So to start off with my journey, I did my MBBS from Ramaya, especially during my internship. In the phase of internship, it's 1 year of rotational internship where it'll be like for a month, it'll be medicine, then surgery, then you shift to OBG, then you shift to various other departments. During that course, I used to complete all my practice things in the morning and evening. I used to work in the Department of Hospital Administration. At this phase, you guys won't know what is Department of Hospital Administration. So hospital administration is the main thing to run a hospital. It might be a medical college, it might be a corporate hospital, or it might be any 50-bedded or any 100-bed hospital. So in the Department of Hospital Administration, there will be doctors involved. There will be non-doctors who have a degree in Master of Hospital Administration and MD Hospital Administration people who will be running the hospital, like managing the finance, accounts, workforce like doctors, nurses, and other non-clinical staffs. So when I worked in the Department of Hospital Administration during my evenings, I figured out how the hospital is running. So then, as Dr. Anand told, doctors play a 15% to 20% role in running the hospital or in the functionality of hospital. So there are 50% to 60% of the people are clinical people like nurses and other operational guys, and the other 40 are non-clinical people, like it might be a facility management people, like example housekeeping, security people, operational and accounts, quality people, and every other sector. So once I got in touch with all these things, we saw a lot of gaps in the hospital, in the departments, in the various departments where you need a healthcare knowledge to do it. And when we found an opportunity in the various segments, we started a startup called as Hospicare, where we provide manpower sourcing people with trained healthcare knowledge to the hospitals. So I started it off after my MBBS. Today I finished my internship. Tomorrow I started, because during my internship I was very clear that I wanted to start off with my own thing. So during this course, I also did a course in finance. Why doing a course in finance helps is, as Dr. Anand mentioned in his talk, managing money is the biggest thing. So everything narrows down to investing money, managing the money, and making money. If you don't make money, you cannot run a hospital or any other startup. So once you learn how to handle money, it will be very easy for you to venture into any such sort of startup or hospital, running a hospital or having a hospital. And coming to in the future, you guys will end up either being a practicing doctor in a medical college, in a corporate chain, or an individual clinic, or in a government setup like primary health center, district health centers, and etc. So, or you might become a hospital administrator in a corporate chain or in a smaller segment of hospital. To become a hospital administrator, you have to do MHA, that is Master of Hospital Administration is one thing, and MD Hospital Administration is another thing. Third thing is you can become an entrepreneur on yourself. So I won't be mentioning about how to become a practicing doctor, because you will be trained for the next 5 years for the same. And being an entrepreneur, you need to, the most important thing you need to have is confidence in your idea, because everything is about ideation and then validation and execution of the idea. For example, if you have an idea about starting a business today, you have to validate it, whether it is sustainable or is it viable, and can it be run, or can it be is it profitable, and other things like that. And execution again is the last phase, where you have to start off doing at one or the other day. And coming to the IIC, Dr. Arvind Patil sir and his team has made us external committee members to the IIC. It will be in your campus soon, I think probably in the next 3 to 4 months. So instead of, as Dr. Anand said, managing time is most important for you guys. So instead of playing or going out with your friends or anything, just keep visiting IIC, where we'll have multiple programs for you guys to become an entrepreneur, to start to instigate you to think in that lines. So we will always be there physically. I'll be present at least in 4 to 5 days in a month. And online, Dr. Anand also will be available, and we are adding other entrepreneurs like us who are finished MBBS and then entered business. So please feel free to come to us, and we are very friendly, and we don't have any formalities and nothing like that. So you can come, and if during the course of your MBBS, if you find any good idea or any such sort of thing, you can come and pitch to us. We will tell you, and we will help you in validating the idea that is this going to work or not, or to make it work, what you need. Sometimes it may need money, or needing a workforce, or it may need the right people. So we are the team in BLD. Dr. Gavish is also very active, and she's very supportive too. So you guys can come to us anytime. I think any questions, like you can ask me directly, no problem. Hello.
Any questions, dear students? It is not an didactic lecture series, dear students. We are trying to bring you towards innovative world, entrepreneur world. It's a totally a different thing than your routine activities. So we are not like one side we will be teaching, putting PowerPoint, that, this and all. It is actually taking you to a different world, like entrepreneurship, innovation and all. So that is what our intention was. And in the same way the doctors are speaking. So if you have any doubt in this regard, you can approach, you can ask now.
So, so while you have a project going on, you will be facing a lot of challenges. So how would you deal with that? How would you keep your focus on the goal while you are with those ups and downs mentally, physically?
Yeah, Priyanshi, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Priyanshi, during any project, as I told you again, it's a phase of ideation, validation, and execution. During the phase of ideation, you will have a lot of problems, and during the phase of validation, you will have a lot of problems. That is where the concept of mentorship comes in. So people like us who have already faced and gone through that will guide you in all those things. There will be ups and downs. 100% there will be ups and downs. It is not at all like finishing MBBS and then just entering PG and finishing off and practicing in some other hospital and under somebody else, because you are on your own. So when you are on your own, you need a mentors and you need seniors who will guide you, and you need a very right team which will guide you to a successful execution. So mentorship is one thing I would like to is the main answer for your question is one thing, and second thing, having a right team is very important.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Definitely.
Thank you. And I'll be available in IAC. You can come down anytime. Like if you won't have much of questions now. I'm very sure, because you're just entering the course. So during your course, you please focus into this, because it's a very nice segment where you can grow. And instead of just like a rat race where you become MD doctors and MS doctors, you can come up with new ideas, and you can also contribute to the healthcare innovation and coming up with new things. And who knows, you might be the next Jeff Bezos or somebody like Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. You might have a better idea than them also. We are here to guide you.
Exactly. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That is actually the both doctors we had kept today was the intention was to make you understand an entrepreneurship. So the purpose is very much served, and even we have a hope to get many of you to get involved in innovations. I just give you some hints, like many of your seniors have made many innovations, which is now has been selected by the National Innovation Contest, shortlisted for many a times. So similarly, that will be promoted by some agencies and all. So such activities will be there in the innovation cell. So it is always IAC is made for you all guys, so you can involve in that, you can participate in that. Now we are coming to the end of the session. I'd like to thank both the speakers today. They were tremendously thought their experience. I cannot say it is a guest talk. It is their own experience as an entrepreneurs. So I would like to thank Ajit sir, who actually introduced Anand sir, and he brought him to our ISC. Thank you very much, sir, for bringing Anand sir, and also for speaking today's session. I'd also like to thank Anand sir for giving a wonderful experience on your own. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of IIC, on behalf of PLDE University, I'd like to convey you a sincere thanks. And my sincere thanks to our Vice President Sureka Hiprigi Madam, President Arvind Patil sir, and Vice Chancellor sir, and Registrar sir, and all the administrators of the university and the college. My sincere thanks to all the students and all the faculty joined over here, and also the external delegates. Many of the external delegates I can see. So I would like to thank everyone joined here, And lastly, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the IT team who has supported tremendously to conduct this event. Tomorrow you have another session by an rural person become an vocal for local boy, as we say. Similarly, a rural person who has made many innovations on his way. So we will see my story as an innovator.